Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of Behind the Hype. Today I'm interviewing Mike Heath, and we just kind of sit down and shoot the shit about stuff. Now, I just wanted to give you an idea about why we're doing Behind the Hype or why I came up with it. I've been in this business for a long time. I've been on a lot of Skype calls with people, chats with people. I've done interviews with people, for people. I've gone out to events, and the thing that I've found most impactful for my business and where I got where I get the most, I don't know, satisfaction out of it, or the best ideas, or the best info is from just little sit downs that don't have agendas, that don't have anything. It's just chatting, it's just shooting the shit about the business, about things like that. So what this is going to be is a kind of mastermind collaboration. And the key is that there is no real format. We're just going to sit down, shoot the shit, and see what happens and see what comes from it. So normally I would have the videos. For some reason I only recorded the screen when I did it, and I didn't get our two videos in there. So the next one will actually be a video where you can see the other person. But for right now, this is kind of what I've got in store for you. But the content is really good. So I sat down with Mike Heath. We talked a little bit about where he's been, what he's up to. I asked him a bunch of questions. You guys could see it if the video was up, where when he says stuff, I note it, I mark it down, and then I just ask him to expand on that. And a really good conversation unfolded. And there's some really cool, powerful ideas. And in this one particularly, Mike talked about some really, really cool stuff. I'll just flip through the page. He talks about the biggest ad secret. He talks about net 30, so basically he destroys any illusion you're going to have about taking on offline clients, and because everyone's worried that they're not going to have the money or they're not going to pay or whatever, this eliminates that objection. So we go into some really, really, really cool stuff. And Mike does awesome. So I'm going to stop talking. I just want to let you know the whole reason we did this is I want to have just a series of masterminds and have it out there for you, the world, anyone looking or struggling or just wanting more info on certain things online. We're gonna do that. Now there is a comment section below that I've left. It's attached to Facebook, so log in as a Facebook user and leave the answers down below, so I'll get the little notification, and then I'll come back and answer if I can. If not, I'll get Mike, or I'll get any expert interviewee to come in and answer some questions. They're not obviously going to dedicate every single day all day to it, but they'll stop in from time to time to help out. So other than that, enjoy the video. If you want to hear any more from Mike, in the little text blurb down below the video, I have put a link to his special Facebook group. He's not even doing an opt-in. He doesn't want to try and pitch you or sell you anything. Just if you like what he's had to say and you want to learn more and you want to see and get his updates, you can head to his group and do that. And there's also a link to his Facebook profile because we mention it in the video. So enjoy the content, and I will see you on the next one, where I will be interviewing another Facebook ads expert, but he is in the online field and does some really, really big numbers. So enjoy the call, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, I guess that's going. So, all right, everyone, welcome to Behind the Hype. This is the first episode, and there's absolutely nobody better than Mike Heath to talk to about online tomfoolery. So, Mike's going to tell you a little bit about himself, but he's like a Facebook fucking wizard for offline clients, and we're going to talk a bit about that. Now, the whole structure of this thing is going to be that, you know, there is no actual structure. So eventually we're going to probably have you guys jump on the call. I just want to kind of get the feel down. So we're going to talk to Mike and figure out some stuff. We're just going to, there's no program questions or anything like that. I'm just going to see if I can get some shit out of him today. And I don't mean shit, Mike. So this is Mike. Welcome aboard, Mike. Tell the people who you are, what's up, and let them know why the hell anyone would want to listen to you on Facebook.
Well, yeah, my name is Mike. I have been in business for 5 years. Oh, God, 5 years now. And just been doing Facebook ads. I do Facebook ads for mostly local businesses, try to get them, you know, a foothold in the market, get them noticed online, that kind of thing. And that's just what I do. That's pretty much the only thing I do. I don't do websites or any of that stuff. It's just basically social media ads to get you noticed and get more customers, and yeah, that's it.
Did you start with that? Like, was that your thing where you're like, oh, look at this shiny new product that I just picked up. This is telling me how to become a Facebook guy. I'm going to take this and I'm going to run with it. Or is there like a more in-depth kind of story on how you got there? In fact, you know what?
Well,
Which would lead into that really well is tell us like where you came from first, and then there will be some context as to all the good things.
that's a good idea. So, like every internet marketer, I started out in a crappy job. I didn't have any money. I graduated from college back in 2001 with a degree in psychology, and I was going to go into shut up, Bill. I was going to go into a master's program in psychology. Decided that wasn't really my deal, and so I ended up working for the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles, for 5 years, and that really wasn't my deal either, believe it or not. I know everybody's dream is to work at the DMV, but it just didn't work out. And so,
like, was it fun to deal with the people?
I didn't deal with the people at all. Like, I just dealt with the employees. I worked in IT, and basically what I did at the DMV was I managed the software. So every time we updated the software, I was kind of like a programmer light in that regard. So I did that for about 5 years, decided it wasn't really my thing. I'd been reading on the Warrior Forum. I think that's where a lot of people get started, is the Warrior Forum, and they find that, they realize that people can make money online, and I'm like, I didn't know that could happen. Like, I didn't know people were doing that. And, like, I knew, like, about Amazon and stuff like that, but I thought only, like, the big companies could do that and all that. So then I discovered I could do it, and then I started, like, consulting for people for doing websites, which I knew how to build. I started doing SEO, which I learned how to do myself from
How was that?
Warrior Forum stuff. And
let me ask you real quick about that, because there's always the hype and the fluff and the airy-fairy crap out there about the fact that, yeah, SEO is super simple. Is that true? Like, is SEO something you can just go figure out and get ranking and rolling easy?
yes and no. If you're in a city, like, I know, right, answer for you. But, like, if you're in a big market, like, if you're trying to do, like, I don't know, we'll say lose weight. If you want to rank for lose weight, that's going to be, like, a monumental task. It's probably going to take months or years or whatever to rank your stuff for lose weight, because everything changes. Everything is, like, everything is always fluid, So it's going to take a lot of time, a lot of consistent effort.
And you're playing
one of the things,
money, right? Like, when you're in something, they have money and they're not screwing around with it. They're there to kick your ass and take the money, right?
Exactly. I bet if you Google lose weight, there's not a single internet marketer on the first 10 pages. Because a lot of times these people just, they put out this fluffy stuff, doesn't last. If you read any SEO article from, like, this time last year, so if you went back to January 2015, and you read an SEO article talking about how they get some highly relevant keyword ranked, I bet you if you Googled for that today, a year later, it wouldn't show up at all, because it doesn't stick. You need consistent effort. So, no, it's not easy, and you have to charge, it turns out, a lot more than I was charging. And really, like, realistically, for local SEO, it's not as hard. It still requires consistency and a lot of things that people need to do but they don't do, like write blogs or make guest posts or basically produce content on a regular basis. Business owners and businesses aren't going to do. So if you're going to do SEO, you need to have kind of like your own team to do that. And that's what I would recommend these days, is just having your own content producing team that can work consistently for a high budget for, this is like a yearly game plan. This is not some like 1 month, 2 month kind of thing.
Cool.
So either way, it's going to require consistency and a lot of effort.
You know, I just want to talk since we're on SEO. I was finding that like in the local marketplace with SEO, and this is the cool part where like Facebook is cool, is everyone would go to Fiverr, like they tell you to go to Fiverr to get links and stuff like that. But I found there was a lot of people that had SEO agencies that were offering like links, and then what would happen is there would be no one ranked for that keyword, that local term that you're using. And then you'd buy the gig, you'd rank a little bit, but 2 or 3 days later, you'd see this guy just dominating the first 2 or 3 pages because they took your keywords, right? So Fiverr was a really good way. Did you find that, like with the competition in SEO, that they're pretty cutthroat dudes out there?
Yeah. And even with things like AdWords, I had a client who was a locksmith, and we all know like locksmith on Google is kind of like this taboo thing anyway. But they had his competition, believe it or not, had people in, where was it, Iran or Syria or one of those countries, I kid you not. They would VPN into a server in the US, and they would click on his Google ads to make him spend his budget all up by like within an hour in the day.
Oh.
That's how sinister these people are. They would hire people in the Philippines or wherever just to click on Google AdWords to make his budget expire. That's how like cutthroat it is. Like, and they would do stuff like they would register 50 phone numbers at a time and get ranked for 50 different, locksmith businesses in the city. And so they take up the whole first page with basically fake listings. So that's the kind of stuff, like, it's not, to me and my business and how I want to live my life, that was way too much stress, and that's not how I wanted to work. And so that's one of the reasons I got out of it, was because as soon as you kind of reveal, that's why nobody tells you what sites they're working on. Because as soon as you reveal that, then you can basically go in and cut out all their work in a day's time.
So basically, and I just want to get this out for anyone that's new, like, because I don't really like to show anything that I've worked on. Like, I'll cover stuff up, and people will just be like, "Oh, that's a crock of shit. Like, you don't do anything. That's all hidden." And no matter what I say, people are obviously like, "Yeah, sure, dude, you're full of it." But hiding what you're doing is for a very particular reason, is it not? Like, you don't like to go up and give everything out, right?
The only time I do case studies is when my client says it's okay.
Cool.
And normally, if I'm posting testimonials or ad results or anything, it's without revealing my client. Because, I mean, you're right. Why would I do that? Why would I risk that? Like, not only are they paying me, but because of me, they're able to put food on the table. I'm not going to mess with that. Like, I'm not going to, why would I do that? It doesn't make sense, So it is, I mean, if anyone's watching this and you are new to the scene, just be careful of that stuff. Don't be all like, oh, Bill doesn't reveal anything. I'm going to show everybody everything, and then watch in a month when that's not a good idea.
Yeah, given that I do like products and stuff, it's like you try and show people as much as you can, right? And it's like, okay, so here's what you got to do. Yeah, but show me what you actually do. Right, but if I show you what I'm doing, then you're going to see it, and everybody and their dog's going to float in. We just did one for e-com where I did this dog collar thing, and then we had we started making sales right away with exactly what we showed them to do. And next thing you know, people in the group are like, "Oh, we're using dog collars," and you're starting to see like my page is getting blown up with views, no clicks or likes, just people having a look. And that's why I did just a demo one that I didn't care about, because people will go in and take your stuff, and like you're saying, like with local clients, like, who are you to do that to them? The method is what you should be after.
Yeah, that's the easy way out. That's why you'll never see a Facebook marketer tell you what interests they target, because then it could be, because what we do is we go for these like really niched out interests with not a lot of people, and if you start flooding that niche, you're gonna skyrocket your ad costs and decrease your click-through rate and lower your relevance score, and it doesn't make sense for me to do that. So I'm not going to, I just don't do it. You're absolutely right.
Cool. So then you decided, what, screw it, fuck it, I'm done. Like, let's, by the way, there's potty mouth in Behind the Hype. It's usually me who does it, but we're behind the hype, so if you can't take that, probably not the place for you. So what happened after that?
I had about 10 clients paying me about $400 a month. So if you do the math, that's not a lot of money, and that's a whole lot of stress. What I was dealing with the locksmith was probably like, half of it, and then other clients wanting, for business owners who say they don't have enough time to write a blog, they sure have a lot of time to keep an eye on those rankings, don't they? They call you instantly like, Mike, I'm not on the front page. Mike, I slipped down from 2 to 3. Mike, on my phone, it doesn't show up in the first page. Like, I didn't need that. I wasn't very good at setting expectations, for one thing. I didn't charge enough for another. So I think it was about this time a couple of years ago, I decided no more, screw it. Fired all my clients, decided to go for Facebook ads. I'm trying to remember why Facebook ads. And I think I was talking to my buddy Darren Monroe, and he told me about Facebook ads. And I looked into it, like, I was like, well, I could try this. I had some SEO clients that actually I tried to fire but wouldn't leave. So I was like, well, if they won't leave, I can experiment with them, right? So I had this fitness guy in town here who's still a client, by the way. And I said, man, look, yep, you know that guy. I'm like, look, man, SEO not working out too well. I want to do Facebook ads. Sorry, I'm going to yawn. It's my thing. Sorry, can't deal with it, leave. So,
if you hate yawning and foul language, Behind the Hype is not
right. Yawning and foul language. Yeah, so I said, look, man, we're going to try Facebook ads, but it's going to cost you like 3 times more per month. It's going to be like, I don't know why I had agreed on $1,500, but I said to him $1,300 for some reason, confidence, I don't know what. So I was like, but it's going to cost you a lot, and it's going to be a gamble because I'm learning this stuff myself. And he's like, all right, let's do it. So within the first, I think it was 6 days, so we started running ads in October of 2013, and first 6 days of running ads, he had earned $5,000 from people who hadn't even walked in the door of his gym yet. Like, they left their contact information, he called them, closed them on a sale, and then they showed up and worked out. $5,000 actual money in his hand in 6 days of running Facebook ads. And he's like, okay.
How long would that have taken him with SEO? And this isn't a poo-poo SEO, because I know that it works, but I know you got to be a lot more aggressive than people tell you. But how long would that have taken him with SEO to come in and pull that kind of stuff? Because we'll probably have those people that want to run an SEO, but to me, just watching your evolution, and we're going to be talking to David, who's just a strict online guy, it just seems like FB ads or any social media ads are far more, they have more control. Is that
so SEO is kind of like, you wait and see, what's going to happen. He was running some AdWords as well, but not to a landing page, just like to his homepage. And it was one of those things where it just, the people who did, like, they had to go to his homepage, then they had to submit a contact form, and then do, like, he would close maybe, I don't know, 1 out of 10. And so you kind of had to wait and see. Like, it was just a waiting game. Sit here at your desk and be like, I hope a lead comes in today. Yeah, that would be nice. But with Facebook ads, we were able to get directly in front of people and say, hey, this program, this price, you want it, sign up. Really direct response style advertising, really to the point. Worked really well. We got like 23 leads. He closed 18 of them and made $5,000. Like, to answer your question, that probably, we would get probably 3 leads a week from SEO, and that was being on page 1. So 3 leads a week times, what, 8 weeks would be the same number of leads, and then he would close a lot less of those. So it'd probably taken about 3 months. And 3 months to make $5,000, not that great.
No.
Do it in 6 days or 1 month. Now we're talking, you know. Worked out really well.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you, obviously, how you set that up. For those of you that don't know, on the actual post of this video down below, there will be access to get info to Mike's content. There's no pitching allowed, so we can't put like a sales page down there. But there's going to be an opportunity to learn some cool stuff from Mike. So I want to ask you a couple questions, even though I'll ask you the how in a minute. When you were talking earlier, you're like, perhaps you had wrong expectations, you didn't know how to set them properly, and the price. So I think the two of those go hand in hand. I mean, I know for myself, when I started my coaching business way back in the day, I think I started charging $750, believing that what I knew just wasn't good at, like, I don't know. I was still swinging a hammer, but people were saying, hey, how do you do what you're doing? I'll pay you. So I started with $750. I had a confidence problem. So how did you get through that expectations? What do you mean you weren't setting your expectations properly, or your price, your confidence? Like, tell me a bit about that.
So I would say the main thing I wasn't doing was telling my clients how it was going to be, right? When you go to Walmart or wherever you go to shop and you want to buy a hammer, they have several hammers. This is the price. You go buy it. You expect that you're getting a hammer. That's how you want to run your business. You can't go in there like with, I know I hate this word mindset, but it really is kind of a mindset thing. If you go into a business with the kind of thought process that you're going to take whatever they give you, that's the opposite of what it needs to be. You need to go into the business with a clear understanding of what you do, how you're going to deliver what you do, how much it costs, and what they can expect from it. So now, you know, when I used to go into a place for an SEO kind of a deal, you know, I would say, well, here's what I do, and here's what it costs. And they say, well, how about we'll pay you this, and we're going to get on page 1, right? And I'm like, yeah, okay. You know, it was really kind of a, I would be like, eventually, you know, and it was really just, I was being weak, you know, and you can't be weak. You have to be strong. So now what I do is I say, my Facebook ad service is $1,500 a month. You might not get any leads. In fact, I can't guarantee you'll get even 1 lead. If you don't get any leads, I'll give you your money back. Normally what we can expect is between 3 and 6 leads a day for this amount of ad budget, which is between like $300 and $500 a month. And
that's good.
You'll be able to close about half of those people. So, you know, when you really have it clear what you do, how it's delivered, what your client can expect, and what the consequences are for that, then not only does your client see the value, so the client's doing math in their head, right? Like, if they can close 20 leads a month, that's an extra $10,000, and you only want $1,500. That's a good deal for them.
And
a lot of times
there's just no wait and see for them, like with the Facebook either, right?
There's no wait. Yeah, like with the SEO, there's no wait and see. I can get started within the week. You'll get leads that same day or the next day, and they won't stop until you tell me to. I've had 2 clients in the last month tell me to stop ads because they couldn't keep up with the number of leads they were getting. So, you know, having that confidence to say what you're going to expect and what that means for you is just a total game changer. And that's what you need to go into businesses doing. and just be confident in yourself and what you can accomplish.
Yeah, you're saying that. I remember like I would try and I did some offline stuff before as I was trying to accumulate. I was doing online, I was doing offline, and offline's actually what finally gave me enough money to quit. But I found with the SEO, like it's so hard to shape the offer in a way that somebody's going to understand what you're doing. So you see these guys like, oh yeah, just go sell an SEO service. Well, what are you selling in the SEO? Because the business owner wants to know more than the SEO. And here it sounds like using social media or paid traffic that has them in this little place, it gives you the ability to shape a really easy offer. I'm going to put some ads up for you. You're going to get leads or you're not going to get leads, but I'm still charging this much money, right? So it's a lot easier. You know what you're doing, whereas with SEO, you've got to explain, oh, well, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and then I'm going to do this. And once they get lost, they don't understand, and they don't have the ability to do that math you just mentioned, which when you tell them how many leads they can expect, they're instantly going to start doing that math. So that's cool. Shaping the offer, that's a good one. I like that.
And one of the things you can do with social media ads especially is say some things that get them on board immediately. Like, hey, you know about Facebook, right? Like, that question is so, like, everybody knows about Facebook. Hey, you know about Facebook, right? Yeah. Well, what I do is I put ads on Facebook and sell stuff. You run a sale before, right? Well, yeah. So, like, that's two things off the bat that they do already, they know about, and you're just putting it together. Like, you know about Facebook, right? Yeah, you run sales before, right? So all we're going to do is put your sale on Facebook and make a lot of money. Oh. Like, how hard is that to, like, you understand that, I understand that, my grandma would understand that, you know? It's not hard, it's not a hard concept. Even older people get the idea. Everyone understands that concept. And so when you talk about it like that, just in, like, layman's terms, I'm not talking about, like, landing pages or ad copy or cost per click. You know, I didn't mention any of those things. I just said, hey, you know about Facebook, right? Yeah. Well, we're going to put an ad on Facebook and sell a lot of stuff. Okay. That's the entire conversation.
To me, it's kind of like I've done a post about how you can just go sell mobile websites to clients, and it's really easy. All you got to do is take a mobile phone in with you and show them their site on the phone and ask them whether or not they've used a shitty full page site on a mobile phone and and it's like, yeah, okay, so how much? Like it's really easy when you can see or break it down into those. And we have a guy starting, and it's hard to get him to understand, like, just do this. That's it. Well, what about this? No, you won't have those objections. Just put it in their hand, and it's very simple. So I like that.
Keep it simple. Hey, you've seen a cell phone before, right? Yeah. You ever seen your website on the cell phone? No, I haven't. Well, here's what it looks like. It looks pretty bad. Huh. I can fix it. Okay. Like, the only thing, like, all you're doing is providing a solution to a problem. Everything that happens to make that happen is irrelevant. All you're doing is solving a problem.
And it's easier when you can make it that simple, too, for you. So, let's go. I don't know I don't have time limits for this, so if you have a time limit, I just want to make sure, but we're rolling, rolling only half hour here, so that's cool.
Yep.
Let's say someone wants to do what you're doing. How, like, what would, in their area, like, we don't obviously have to list clients or anything like that, but how do they get started? Like, how would you go about doing that in the least complex way possible? Like, if I'm sitting here today and you need me for whatever reason, let's say you're going to die if I don't know how to do this by the end of this call, what would I start doing? And let's hope that doesn't happen. Your cats would be devastated.
I doubt it. My cats don't like me. But, man, here's, like, the biggest thing I learned in 2015 was a lot of people worry about getting started. A lot of people worry about having some sort of magical skill set. You know, everyone was a baby once. You know, nobody is born knowing about SEO or Facebook ads. Like, if you put in the time to learn it and then you want to do that thing for other people, then just start telling people what you do. That's my biggest piece of advice. So here's how to do that. Like, you've heard of Facebook, right? So all you're going to do is go on Facebook and start posting. And the only thing you need to change on your Facebook profile is to set your post to public, meaning not just your friends or family can see it, but everybody on Facebook can see your posts, because that will get you more exposure. It'll get you exposure to people that you don't know personally. It'll get you leads. It'll help you network easier. So here's what I would do is I would just start posting on Facebook. It doesn't have to be every post. You can, in fact, you can go to my Facebook profile. Just look up Mike Heath. It's the one that says "bad motherfucker" on the outside. But maybe I'll put a link to it or whatever. Somebody will. So just have a look. It's all public. Look through my Facebook profile. Now, a lot of them are personal stuff. I have a kid. There's pictures of her. There's pictures of what I'm doing in the world. But sometimes, once or twice a week, I'll post some testimonials or some results, or I'll put an offer out there. I'll tell people what I'm doing. The biggest problem that a lot of people have is that nobody knows what they do. And so when you start putting that out there, like there's a guy named Neil Twa. I think you know who that is, Bill. He does, he does Amazon sales. He makes $100,000 per month in Amazon sales for his products. That's on like the low end. I think he has like 5 or 6 products. He makes a crap ton of money. I never knew what he did. Never. Until he said one day on a Facebook post about his Amazon program. That's the first I'd ever heard about it. Been friends with him for like 3 years on Facebook. Had zero idea what he did. But if people like that just got out there every week or a couple times a week and said, hey, this is what I do. If you're interested, hit me up. I've got a friend who has an Etsy store. She sells like comic book themed clothing on her Etsy store, like Star Wars stuff or X-Men stuff or whatever. She makes like X-Men themed ties, right, and stuff like that. And she posts about this stuff all the time. And as a result of posting about what she does all the time, her sales this month, like today is January 6th, okay, of 2016, her sales for this month are already double her January 2015 sales. And we're only 6 days into the year. So you tell me, does it work? Like, all you have to do is be consistent and tell people what you do. For every post that I put up with an offer or telling people what I do, I get at least a couple PMs from people who are interested in my services, at least talking about it.
I want to mention that because it's an important thing. You mentioned that there's a personal thing. Like there's a few people, friends of mine, that all they ever do is come on and like they post this picture, and these are successful people like outside of the Facebook realm, and like you want to talk about setting up a business and taking it public. They're the people to talk to, but they're trying to bring that to a Facebook feed that's filled with normal people. And there's never any posts about life. And I think the key is when you're running your Facebook profile in this business is you have to have it about your life. And then every now and then you're posting your results so people know what they're doing. It's like for me, most people don't really like, I don't ever really post screenshots. I don't ever really do a whole bunch of me unless I got a product launching, and then I do, and everyone knows. But I've made a few posts in the past, and off 2 posts, I've made 50 grand. Just because I'm like, hey, I'm opening my coaching doors again, and here you go. Now, some people might look at my coaching post and be like, what a dick. He's running his coaching post. Who the hell does that? But the 50 grand that I made off that, well, that made me quite happy, so I don't care what that guy's saying. And I think it's an important point. Let people know what you're doing. And also, like, don't worry about the struggle that's going to happen. Like, if you say I run Facebook ads for local businesses and that's what you decide you're doing from now and moving forward, you just got to do it, and you're going to shit the bed on some things. Hopefully you go check out all the stuff that Mike offers you down in the link below. But the bottom line is once you get started, I mean, get ready. Yeah, you're going to make some mistakes and you're piss some people off. It's going to happen, but you just got to get going. It's just
Yeah, I mean, you lose clients. I lost probably 3 or 4 clients in 2015. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna have bad months. You're gonna have good months. But the key is just being consistent. Like, true story, and not even Bill doesn't even know this. For several months in 2015, I was racking my brain trying to figure out in early 2015 how to get more clients. Like, that was my number one. And the reason that I was doing that is because I had lost a few clients. I was down to 1. I had 1. And that's not good. That's not good for anybody. It's a lot of stress. And it's, even though it was, about $1,500 a month, it was still, not okay. Today I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 clients on the roster today. And that came from just a couple months of doing what I mentioned earlier, which is telling people what you do. And that it is really that simple. Like, a lot of people worry about starting up because they think they'll have to run ads or spend some huge amount of money to do a VSL, a video sales letter, or, all this needlessly complex funnels. Just get on Facebook, post a status, tell people what you do. Done. Do that once a week. You'll get 1 client a week, and you'll be rolling in it.
So they've got these clients now because they're posting their shit on Facebook saying how rad they are. What would you say is the biggest secret? Like, honestly, guys, I'm just going to interject the conversation here. If you don't understand Facebook's, go into the ads manager. Don't even jump into the power editor yet. Just go click in, have a look, and start playing with it. It's really, it seems like there's a lot of shit in there, but it's pretty basic stuff. Like, it's all laid out pretty clearly. What's an interest right here? What people do you want? What demographic? It's pretty good. Here, make your image, all that kind of stuff. So out of all those things, all those confusing trickery things in the back of Facebook, what would you say the biggest ad secret is for someone that's working in the offline realm? Like, what do you think that key point is? I don't know whether it's the price that they offer the product at, whether it's the way that you should hit your interests, or like what's the secret? One or two.
If you're doing if you're doing ads for an offline business, you're doing ads for a little local place, here's what's going to happen. You need to have an offer, and you need to have an audience. Now, you already have a built-in audience because they're going to be serving people in their city, right? So you can narrow that down. In Facebook now, you can say, hey, I want to advertise to people within 10 miles of my business. Here's my business address. Draw a circle around it. 10 miles, here they are. So now you've got that. Super easy. Facebook already does that for you now. Like, compared to just a year ago, like, this is like idiot-proof stuff. So you go in, you draw a circle around the business. You say, these are the people I want. And so then you spend $10 a day, and you put an offer out there. And you say, it's my biggest, the thing I've had to get the most, this is going to sound like I'm an idiot, the thing I've had to get the most better at, I don't know how to say that. I know, right?
Not me.
American education at its finest. But so the thing I've had to improve the most about my skill set is my copy. So if anything, I would suggest getting really good, look up direct response copy, and just spend a lot of time reading ads, looking at, because here's the problem with Facebook ads, is that almost nobody locally runs them. I bet you can't remember the last time you saw an ad for a local business in your Facebook feed. It still doesn't happen today. I thought, when I started doing this in 2013, like mid-2013, I thought that I had about a year and a half before everybody started doing this. And I'm wrong. I'm way wrong. Nobody is doing it. So there's not a lot of good examples. But if you do Facebook ad, if you look for, direct response ad copy, that's going to be your biggest asset because you're going to be making landing pages. You're going to want ads that are punchy, have great copy. The images really don't matter so much. Like, it's all about the offer and the copy, and the big secret is make it at least 30% off and make it really easy to claim. That's it. That's the big thing, yeah.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that. I totally thought by now everybody would be littering my newsfeed because they can do it for pennies. Pennies!
Yep.
You can get out there for pennies in front of people that are local. And I mean, at that price, anybody can do it. And I am, now that you mentioned that, I'm thinking about when's the last time I saw anyone in my local area, and nobody does. And I think it has to do with the fact that people are just scared to offer the service. Like, I really think if you look at how many local businesses aren't advertising in your area, you know how many people in your area are full of shit about what they do online. Like, if you can find someone that says they're like an ads guru and they're helping local businesses on Facebook and you've never seen any of them. Actually, I saw a realtor one time and it was terrible. Like, he had direct link to a page and I had to really work hard to find it. I wanted to like help, but honestly, I got shit to do, so I didn't. But you're very right, man. Like, nobody's doing it, and it's because they just don't know how to do it. Yet all you really need to do is go in and go like, I live in Vancouver, so I'm gonna advertise to Vancouver people, or I work in, suburbia, so I'm gonna run ads to suburbia. It's crazy, and the trial and error is so cheap at that, isn't it?
Well, so that's the thing is I actually did a survey a while ago. I asked business owners why, what's up? Like, why aren't they doing Facebook ads? The vast majority told me that they think it's a waste of time or it didn't work for them. Like, the two categories that were the biggest were I've never tried it and I think it's a waste of time, or I tried it once and it didn't work, so I didn't do it again. So those are the two, like, and they're kind of similar, right? Like, they didn't try it, meaning they're scared of it. They're too unsure of how it works, so they just don't mess with it. Like people who don't want to mess things up, and then there's people who boosted a post or something like that, and it didn't make them $10,000, and so that's it, So it's really kind of similar to SEO, right? Like, people don't invest in SEO because they've tried it once. They hired a guy probably, and they didn't get any results, so they're not going to do it again, or they haven't ever done it because they haven't felt they needed to. So, it's one of those things where, a lot of them are scared of it and don't want to do it. So yeah, and so you're talking about trial and error. Like you mentioned earlier, pennies. Like, my average cost per click right now is like 20 cents. So that's 5 clicks for $1. And if you convert at 20%, then that's 1 lead for $1. My average cost per lead is a little bit under $2 from my client.
That's a good price.
That's pretty good. Even if you only closed, I don't know, let's say my cost per lead is $2. And let's say you get 100 leads, so you spent $200. So even if you only close, I don't know, 10 people of those 100 people, let's say your close rate is 10% on a $50 product. You made $500 and spent $200. So you're golden. I mean, it doesn't take a lot at all to be profitable with Facebook ads. And so I did a lot of research on this. I looked up the average close rate for a business off of a cold lead is 40%.
What?
So you can go to your business, it's 40%.
Wow.
So here's the trick. If you ask a business owner, and this is what I like to do, I said, hey, if I lined up 10 people in front of you that were ready to buy your gym membership or whatever, how many of those people could you close? And they'll be like, oh, I could close 8 out of 10, right? they're going to have this massively inflated number. And so if they say 8 out of 10, well, how much money is that for you? That's like $10,000 in terms of a gym contract, right? But in reality, if they can only close 40, it's still $5,000. They still make a lot of money. They still are ahead of the game. So, yeah, it's super easy. It's super cheap to do. And with normally, I only run about $300 or $400 a month ad budget.
Okay,
super
so
cheap.
if I'm sitting here, I'm listening to our conversation. Obviously, it's making sense. So somebody who actually wants to get out there and go to work, they could do this, but they're going to run into some standard objections that you and I obviously wouldn't care about, because at the end of the day, it's like, dude, I'll just move on. But like, if someone's really worried about these objections, would you offer the service for free where they just pay for a portion of the ads to get them and show them that it works, or would you just move on to the next guy? Because there is a lot of skepticism, right? Like, people just don't know it. And as a business owner, if you're not seeing other businesses do it, you're not really, they'd rather pay for shitty flyers that they don't have any copy on and send it to your door and do that for $1,500 a month than they would Facebook. And yet people see it on Facebook and they get the flyer and they throw it straight in the garbage. So would you ever do something for free on that, or what's the deal?
So the way that I overcome that objection is I operate like a real business. And what I mean by that is, you know, if you go to Walmart, they're not going to be like, okay, you can take these groceries home and try them out, and if you don't like them, you can bring them back. But you only have to bring back the part that you didn't eat. So go ahead and eat all our groceries and just bring back what you didn't like, and you'll just pay for the rest. Pay for what you keep. That's on us. That's not how real business works. Real business sells you something for a price and then delivers that service. So one of the things that you can do as a real business is something very powerful called Net 30. Net 30 means they can sign up for something and they don't have to pay it for 30 days. So it gets them off the hook, basically. So here's my two-part guarantee. If anyone brings up any objection, I say, look, here's my two-part guarantee. Part number one is if I get you 0 leads, which actually happened in December, I say, look, if I get you 0, if you don't get even 1 lead, then you don't have to pay for it at all. And then I say, obviously, I can't pay for the ads. That's part of the cost that you have to absorb that's the cost of doing business. As long as you say it like that, they're going to agree with you 100% of the time. Like if I say to you, well, you have to pay for your groceries, right? Like, that's just the cost of living at home. You have to pay for your groceries. You're going to be like, yeah, of course. You have to pay for your ads. That's just the cost of doing business. Yeah, I get that. So they pay for the ads, and you put them on a Net 30. And say the second part of my guarantee is that I'll just put you on a Net 30. I'll send you the invoice now, today, and you don't have to pay it for 30 days. And the goal then is in 30 days they've made more money than that costs, and so it's just basically free. So they just pay you back off the money they made. But still, it is a contract. It's not like some verbal agreement. It is a contract that says you're on a Net 30 plan. I've had some people that say, let me just pay you. And I'm like, what? Okay, you know. And I've had some people that, I've got 3 people right now that are on Net 30. And it works out because they get the money, they get the leads. They're on Net 30. It's 0 risk for them. If I don't get them leads, then they don't have to pay anyway. And here's my perspective on that. If I'm advertising for you for 30 days and I'm not able to get you a lead, I don't want to work with you long term because that's a bad plan. That's a bad investment of my time. It's a bad investment of your time. And so in order not to waste anybody's time, let's just go our separate ways. If I get you a shit ton of leads and after 30 days you're like, well, that's no problem, I'll pay you right away, that's a good deal for me. I get paid right away, they're really happy, we continue doing what we do. So that's my 2-part guarantee that takes care of the money objection, the leads objection, the time objection, like every objection they can throw at you. Like even the I have to talk to my partner objection. Like every objection they have is pretty much solved by the net 30 and the leads guarantee.
And who's not going to pay you at the end of 30 days when they got a shit ton of leads that have rolled in? And that last little part that you did right there, the net 30 and the two-part guarantee, that's why we're doing this show right there, because I don't know what the hell we're talking about to begin with. But that one, I mean, I'm sitting there thinking, my lawyer did the same thing to me, but I didn't even know because I didn't ask the price. It's just a lawyer. You're going to have to pay it because, like, you know, they'll get you. But, like, that's what he's doing. It's like, got everything all done, and there's no mention of money, no nothing, just a bill at some point that showed up at my door. You had to pay.
And yeah, I tell people all the time, like, I make it really clear what my rates are. Here's what you're going to pay. You're on net 30. This is what you'll pay after 30 days. And the people that are serious are going to say, okay, let's do it.
Yep.
Because they know, they know. And the people that still don't do it, like, you don't have to be doing Facebook ads to offer that two-part guarantee that I just offered. Maybe if you don't offer leads, you offer something else like business plans or whatever you're doing, websites, you know, you can do that same thing. Like, look, if you hate the website after, you know, then we'll just go our separate ways. But if you love it, you won't have to pay it for 30 days. You know, let's put it in place, and that'll give me time to finish it, and that way you don't have to pay until you see the final thing, you know?
That's I like that.
It's a win-win.
That's cool. Shit, I don't know that I'm necessarily going to go any farther because I think that, I mean, unless you have any crazy parts you want to add to it, but I think you just gave, like, there's absolutely no one that's sitting here right now. And the cool part is that you haven't screen shared, you haven't shown anything. But, like, it's as simple as what we're talking about here. So you guys that are sitting back watching the show, and girls, like, you have the full blueprint there. You know where the Facebook Ads Manager. If you don't, it's on the left-hand side of your home screen. Go click it, have a tour. And then you can set this bad boy up. Now, if you want more info, there is a link that you can follow Mike down below and sign up to his newsletter or whatever he's got for you. And you can learn how to do this. But, like, I mean, you've eliminated the cost objection. You know that you can advertise for people within an area, in a city. You can keep it specific to their market. I mean, I don't know, man. You pretty much closed the door on everything.
I mean, you know, if you're watching this now and you haven't had success yet, you're probably trying too hard to complicate it for yourself, because a lot of people are too scared to actually do the thing they want to do, right? So they do other stuff. Like, I spent a long time trying to build a funnel in order to avoid getting new business, right? So all you have to do, post on Facebook, have conversations with people, do a net 30 guarantee or a leads guarantee, and learn how to do the stuff. Learn it by trial and error. You know, don't learn it on your own dime. Learn it on somebody else's dime. Get someone to hire you first, and then figure out what the hell you're doing. And so that's my advice. Just stop overcomplicating.
It's funny because we're doing this. We got the guy who's going to go out and be the sales guy. But before I needed to do all that stuff, I needed to do this. I needed to get the website set up, get the email set up, get all of that. But yet, if I think back to when I was doing it and it gave me that push to get home full time, I didn't have any of that shit. I just went in and said, this is what I can do for you. Look at your shit-ass site on my mobile phone. Isn't this ugly? Do you like this when you see this on your phone, or do you close it? I close it. Great. So I'll do this for this much money. Sound good? Yeah. And I mean, it was just that. Like, there's no need for a site. There's no need for a funnel. There's no need for a VSL. There's no need for anything. It's just the only need is that you actually have to sit there as a person who's watching this video and maybe still struggling and hasn't picked anything, whether it's online or offline. The only difference between, I guess, Mike and I sitting here and having a reason to be on this call or anything to talk about with you guys is we jump past that threshold of, you know, how do I not be successful at what I do? And now here we are sitting on the show because we both crossed that line. And yeah, you avoid that because you do get into that. How much can I do to avoid doing what I want to do? And it's absolutely crazy. So I think this is a great first call, man. I really do. I'm totally gonna wrap it up. I think we're good, man. Unless I'm gonna ask you to close, but I think for Behind the Hype, that was a really, really good first go on it. I want to thank you for your time because it's not. I know you have Doritos, beer, and some vids you got to play, but yeah, I mean it's cool, man. So I appreciate you coming by and doing it. You got any last words for anyone or anything as we sign off?
Yeah, man. I'm glad to be on here. I think, I hope it was a good first show, and that's pretty much it. Anything you sell, anything you're trying to convince people to buy or whatever, just boil it down to the benefit and sell them that and say, hey, you need more leads? Yeah. You heard of Facebook? Yeah. This is what I do. Let's do that. And keep it real low-key. Don't complicate things. And set goals for yourself. So my goal for 2016 is to serve 10 more clients. So I'm already got 2 in January. So just go do that, and you'll start to see success in your business, even if you've never had it before. Just post on Facebook regularly. Tell people what you do. Tell everybody what you do. And you don't have to have, like, a lot of people are hitting like the 5,000 friend limit on Facebook or whatever. You don't even have to do. I have like 500 friends, and I have more business than I can handle. So it's just telling people what you do. Like, don't complicate it. That's all I got, man.
All right, cool. Mike, thanks very much, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed this version of Behind the Hype. I was probably gonna. First of all, I always look this way because I'm sharing on my big monitor for you guys. So I'm looking at Mike over here while he's talking, and I'm trying to look in here and listen, but I can't even see his faces. So I was gonna do this so we could do question and answers and stuff like that at some point, but I really think this is a little bit better. I'll put a comment box on the page below each video, and then you can come ask questions, and if we get enough, I'll bring the guy back. But there's access. Mike's going to have something for you, and there's a link to his profile from the conversation we had. So thanks a lot, Mike. Everybody, there's going to be another episode where we will be talking about Facebook ads again, but it's a different way, and yeah, we'll do that in the next one. So thanks a lot, guys. Later.
Later.